I went from not running consistently at all to running 10 miles and signing up for a half marathon. Here's how. Today I'll be talking about how I got into running, things I've learned, how I train, and what I want to do with running in the future. So stay tuned. So how I got into running is I've always ran a little bit. Like in high school, I ran cross country and played soccer, and so I was familiar with running. But then now, as of more recently, I hadn't been running as much. Like since after high school, I didn't really run that much. I would go on a run every now and then, but it was never anything official. And then in 2021, I tore my ACL, so I couldn't run for like 3 months. And then after that, I got back into running a little bit, but just mainly for training purposes. Not specifically for like training for a race or anything like that. It was more for rehab and getting back to soccer. So then after a year and after I rehabbed from my ACL, I got back into running a little bit, but it was mainly just for soccer, and it would be like maybe like a mile. Like I wouldn't really run that much, or I would just run if I'm at soccer practice or if I'm playing in a game, in a soccer game. About a year after my ACL surgery, I moved to Miami, and December of that year, I joined a soccer league, and it was a 5v5 girls league. It's called AGC, it's amazing. But I joined that league, and so I started running more for soccer just during practice and during the games. And so I was running for sports basically, and I wouldn't really run outside of that very much. I can't really remember, to be honest with you, but I don't think I was really running that much besides just at soccer practice, or if I just randomly thought I want to go on a run. And so I didn't have like actual running shoes at that point. So then later on, the company that I work for started a run club, and I decided to go, and so it met on Wednesday night. So I went to this run club for a few weeks, and then the person who started the run club, shout out to Byron. When I first started at the run club, I was using the Nike Air Max 2018 shoes, and these are super flat, and really they're not the best for running, but I didn't really know. I didn't really think it mattered that much. And then one day, Byron, the person who started the run club, he was telling me like, oh, maybe you should think about getting some actual running shoes. And I was kind of like, I don't think I run that much to need them, but it started making me think like maybe I should get some new running shoes. And so then I was looking online, and a lot of running shoes that they have out there, I don't really like how they look, and so I was really picky about that. So I was looking on Nike, and I found these Nike Gore-Tex shoes that were for running, but I didn't think that they were that ugly, so I was like, okay, I'll get these. And I think they were on sale, like $30 off, so I was like, okay, I'll get these. And actually I still have these. I wear them sometimes, but not that much anymore. But these are the Nike Gore-Tex ones. So, and then also the more that I wore these, the more I thought they kind of looked ugly actually, and so then I didn't want to wear them. But I mean, they're fine. Like, they're okay. But so once I got these, I did notice that it was helpful. Like these were better than the Nike Air Maxes that I had been wearing previously, and so they were helping me, but it wasn't anything like too drastic. It was definitely helpful because I was starting to run more. At this point, we were running about 3.5 miles each Wednesday, so once a week running 3.5 miles. And so a few months later, I was able to run in the Dusk 5K. A few months after that, I was able to run in the Twilight 5K in Miami, and then I used those Nike Gore-Tex shoes for that. And I placed in my age group, so I got a $30 gift card to a local running shoe store. And so then at that point, I was like, okay, maybe I should actually get some running shoes. And before that, I had been kind of looking at the New Balance Rebels. So I went to the Team Footwork store in South Miami, and I was asking the person who worked there about the New Balance Rebels, and he was like, okay, you can run on this treadmill and we'll record your run and then put it in slow-mo and we can analyze what your run form is and what shoe that you might need. So then I was like, okay. So then I get on the treadmill, I'm running, and then after he goes to analyze it, he was telling me that my form is pretty good on my left leg, but my right leg, my ankle kind of bends in a little bit and it's not as stable, which he was like, did you have an injury in your left leg? And I was like, yes, I tore my ACL a while back. And he was like, okay, that makes sense. So then basically he was saying that I would need a supportive shoe in my right foot, but then a neutral shoe in my left foot, something like that. Basically, he was saying that since I needed one type of support in one foot and another type of support in the other foot, then I should just get a neutral shoe. And the New Balance Rebel is a neutral shoe. So then I was like, okay, great, because that's what I wanted anyways. So I used my $30 gift card and I got these New Balance Rebels, which I have loved. They're very lightweight and they also look good, which that was a big thing for me. Like, I wanted them to look nice, and these look so nice. New Balance is amazing. I started running with these and I actually could tell a huge difference. It felt so much better on my knees, and I started running longer distances after I got these shoes, and I think it was super helpful for me because after that on Wednesday nights we started running more like 4 miles, 5 miles, 6 miles. So we were getting into the longer distances, and it was super nice to have a shoe that was very supportive and cushiony and also lightweight, like super nice. Whenever I was wearing the Nike Air Maxes, I felt like my feet were really loud. Like, I would step and like hit really loudly on the ground. But with the New Balances, I felt like it was much better. So then I was going to the run club every Wednesday and we were continuing to run more and more miles. So then we decided that we wanted to try to run a half marathon. So we signed up for some half marathons here in Miami. Then we started training more for these half marathons. So then here's some things that I've learned along the way. So my first thing that I learned is whenever I first started running with the run club at work, it was really just for fun and it was a good workout, and I think that made it so much better that it was actually fun. Like, I was going every Wednesday and running more miles, and it was just for fun. It was nothing super serious. I think that's a really good piece of advice, is do it for fun. And then the next thing is, if you don't find running exciting, you should run with people. Like, if you find going out and running by yourself to be a little bit boring or just not that fun, then join a run club and run with people and actually try to find people that are your pace. It's also really good if you can talk to people while you're running. And then also, running once per week is okay. Like, I think sometimes people look at serious runners and they're like, oh, if I start running, I have to run at least like 3 times a week. And maybe you don't have time for that, or when you're just getting started, it might be easier for you if you can just make time to run at least once a week, and then you can get in the habit and add on more runs eventually. But it's fine to run once a week, especially if you're not training for anything. Like, once a week is perfectly fine, and you will still most likely get faster because you're being consistent and you're running once a week. My next thing is, which I already kind of mentioned, is getting new shoes really helps. Like, it really helped me. It depends on which shoes you get, but if you actually get shoes that are made for running and you go to a store and you get them to help you find the shoes that work best for your stride and everything, then getting new shoes and new running shoes that are specifically for running, it's so helpful. Another thing is to use Strava and or Nike Run Club, or both. Whenever I first started running more, I was mainly using Nike Run Club and then screenshotting my run and then importing it or uploading it to Strava. But now you can integrate your Strava and your Nike Run Club, and mostly now I just use Strava. But since I'm going to start training for my half marathon more, I'm probably going to start using the Nike Run Club app a little more because it has good tempo run programs and also like interval training. Yeah, those can be super helpful. It's kind of like you have your own personal coach, and it'll tell you like, okay, start running, and then after a few minutes it'll tell you like slow down, or it'll be like good job. Like, it's kind of motivating, and also you can do like specific workouts through that app. The next thing I learned is make sure that you stretch before your run and then also after your run. This, even if you don't stretch for that long, just stretching is really important because you don't want to get injured and then lose your progress and then have to start over. If you can stretch, that's a great thing to help you stay healthy while you're running and starting your running journey. Also, going along with this, don't increase your mileage too fast. Like, build up to certain distances. Don't start one day with 1 mile and then the next day run 20 miles. Like, that's a lot, and you might get injured and then you have to start back over. So yeah, make sure to stretch and don't increase your mileage too quickly. So then another thing that I learned is that drinking electrolytes after your runs is super helpful. One drink that I really like for after the run that's pretty healthy and has a good score on the Yuka app is Mila. It's watermelon juice, but they have different flavors, and some of the flavors are like watermelon plus pineapple or watermelon plus passion fruit. Their can branding is also really good, so that's a bonus. And you can get it at 7-Eleven or like different gas stations, so you could just easily pick it up after you go on a run. And 10 out of 10 would recommend. That stuff is amazing, and it's also healthy and hydrating. But if you don't like Mila, or if you don't like sugary electrolyte drinks, then make sure to drink water, and then maybe you can make that homemade Gatorade stuff that's like Himalayan salt and lemon juice and whatever the other thing is. Basically, the history of Gatorade, that's what it started out as, something like very basic ingredients, and then they added high fructose corn syrup, and so now that's how it is what it is today. So Gatorade actually is kind of bad for you because of the chemicals. In some of the colors that the Gatorade is dyed, like the dyes can be bad. Okay, so then next I'm going to talk about how I train currently and then how I want to train going forward. So currently I run once a week, and then I'll run like 3.5 miles once a week on Wednesdays with the run club. I sometimes run on the weekends. I started going to another run club with church, and that's on Sundays, and that's also like 3 miles. I want to start running more, at least like 3 or 4 times a week, and so I want to try to run Monday mornings, Wednesday evenings, Friday mornings, and then Sunday afternoons. So that will be 4 times a week. And also incorporating some long runs, so maybe doing a long run on like a Saturday. And then some things that I want to explore would be biker shorts that have pockets. I might try some more options as far as like biker shorts or shorts that have pockets, so that I don't have to carry my phone while I'm running, because I used to always do that. I used to just like hold my phone in my hand and then run, but that's more work, especially if you're running longer distances. And also I would have to hold my keys, and so it's like keys and phone. That's a lot of extra stuff. And if I want to bring my AirPods, which leads me to my next point. I want to try using my AirPods when I run. Normally I'll be running with Run Club and I'll be talking, so I don't necessarily need my AirPods, but if I'm running 13 miles without talking, I might want to have my AirPods. Another thing I want to investigate is gels, chews, or electrolyte mix liquid for my longer runs. I know that gels are an option. I know that chews are an option. I don't really like the texture of the gels or the flavors, so I'm kind of leaning more towards the chews. I've never tried those before. I also want to try putting a little water bottle with like electrolyte mix liquid and seeing how that goes. So first I want to try the chews, and then if that doesn't work for me, then I might move to the electrolyte thing. So I'm gonna do some trial and error with that. So also I might get a running belt and try that to see if that works better for holding my phone, but I kind of think I might opt for the pockets in your shorts or pockets in your biker shorts option. So we'll see. So yeah, so my half marathon is in March. It's March 2nd. It's a 3:05 half. So I'll be training for that, and I'll be trying to vlog my progress on that also. And then after the half marathon, post a vlog of like my training and overall how it went. And so yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it inspires you to start your own running journey or just get more into running. Or also feel free to comment any tips that you have for running or anything that's helped you in your running journey. And yeah, see you in the next video. Bye! Also, I forgot to mention this previously in the video, but I ran a 5K today, and this is all of the merch that I got from it. I got a notebook, a medal, well actually 2 medals because I placed in my age group, and then a bib. I got this cool tote bag. It has front and back like different designs, and then another tote bag, and then this perfume randomly. And yeah, the medal was also really cool. It was the 5K UAE Healthy Kidney Run. So yeah, just thought I'd mention that. But that was a 5K, and that's about 2 months before my half marathon. Oh, and I also got this shirt. And yeah, it looks cool, and it's a good cause.